So it's over. This is the end. And I know you can't see it, but I'm setting up the last 66 minutes of cardio for this challenge. And it's kind of, I should get started now, actually. Three, two, one. And start talking about like what's happened since. Well, looking back at December 28th, 2024, when I first saw that Instagram story from Gymshark, and at the same time um, that I was looking at it, I was thinking like, what should I do this upcoming year? Like, I know I have specific goals. I know I have certain things that I like to accomplish, but like, how do I do it? Right? And that kind of like just gave me the straight answer like, do this, join this. And I mean, I didn't hesitate. I obviously told Denise about it. She's like, yeah, go ahead, go for it. Like, but I told her like, this is like, this could be life changing, not just for me or for anybody that gets it. So that's what I went with. And I remember December, I forget when. I'm losing track of everything that happened right now. I just remember I went back to work and no, no. I got my cables crossed actually. Um, I just know it was like the day after Christmas, I believe, or Christmas Day when they first announced it. And then on the 28th, I went to work, and that's when I decided to start, getting into this challenge mindset. Because, like I said, and it's still like in my video that I first posted on the caption. I mean, you don't even know if you'll make it to next year. Even though you're like a couple days away, you may not make it for whatever reason, right? I mean, that's how many times hasn't that happened? Like you make plans like, oh, next week, and then boom, you didn't make it. So I wanted to start with that philosophy in my head, like start doing it now. And luckily and unluckily for me, I chose the hardest days of the year at work to start the challenge. Like um, I volunteered to go into work that day. I was not supposed to. I was given the option of not going to work, but I still went. Um, and I knew I work at a car manufacturer. I'm not gonna say exactly which one, but all I can say is they're all electric. So it was a cleanup day, deep cleaning day, and we have to clean everything from top to bottom. Okay, the ovens, like the whole car making process is crazy. I work in the paint department, so I just had to like we had to clean from top to bottom. It took us like 3 days and like a crew of like 30 people just doing one job, right? Cleaning the inside of the ovens. It's super fucking hot in there. Like you get dehydrated. I probably drank like 6, 7 liters of water every day that I was working. And 12 hours straight, you know, sure, your lunch break 30 minutes, your breaks and stuff, but it's not enough. You get out, you get back in. It's fucking hot. It's dark. Like you cannot see anything. You have to use your phone to with the flashlight to kind of like see where you're doing, where you're going through. It's hard to explain, but it's just what had to be done. All right. And after 12 hours, started challenge. And it was kind of fucking was poetic for me because the day before the official start of the challenge, right, I hit legs. And then the last training day for me was yesterday, and I also hit legs. So it was legs, start, legs at the end. And I mean, the 66 minutes of cardio is also like the poetic part of it. Like, to me, in my opinion, I find it like I wanted to make it like special or like symbolic, right? Like, okay, oh, 1 hour of cardio, 60 minutes, make it 66. And that's what I've been doing for the past 66 days. Like, whether it's here on the treadmill or the treadmill at the gym, or, you know, like going on walks every once in a while, and but always hit that 66-minute mark. And January 1st came, and it just happened to be my rest day, just like today. Today is the last day, and just cardio. If I had to do a workout today, I would be at the gym right now. But it's cardio. I'm trying to stick to my plan. And it's just like, and to make it even more crazy, like it's one of those things that you just don't plan. You don't expect it to like go that way. Okay? There were days that had I started like at any other time, any other day with my training and like followed my plan, it would have been a little bit more messy. But I just started like doing the right thing. And whenever I had to like, or I would have had to make a decision whether like training or attending an event or like things like that. For example, the Gymshark Lift Miami, which is a fucking crazy story. A month before it all happened, I was like, I don't know if I have the resources to go. Okay, because I'm from California, and it's all the way across the country. And I was like, well, I could, but it would leave me tight in my pocket. And the day before, I was like, oh, well, it's tomorrow. Although the previous month, I was like, it's okay. Focus on the challenge to like, you know, the time will come. And next thing you know, I'm at work like 3 hours before I clock out of work. And this feeling just came in me like, you should go. Look at flights. You should go. And I couldn't ignore it. Like, it was like the first time that feeling came in me and was just like, you have to do it. Like, I didn't hesitate. I was like, you know, if I hesitated, I probably did for like 5 seconds. And it felt like an eternity because I was like, do I go? Do I not go? Do I go? Do I not go? And I just texted Denise. I was like, you know what? I know it's tomorrow, but something's telling me to go. Something's telling me, book a fucking flight, book a hotel, and go. And luckily, I have a very, very supportive partner. And she was like, okay, book your flight. I'll help you find a hotel, and we'll go. I was like, what about you? Like, because, I mean, usually I like her to come with me. So, long story short, I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Right? Because I couldn't get that little voice in my head, you should go. So, I booked the flights within like 20 minutes. She looked for the hotel, and then like everything was booked at the end. And I clock out. I drive over here, and just pure freaking luck. Pure fucking luck. Okay? it was a day off for me from training, for everything. So that worked out perfectly. So I did not cheat. I did not have to like make a decision whether like traveling or sticking to my plan. Nothing. It just fit in perfectly. Travel day, let's go. Or night, because it was overnight. So at one time, we're like thinking, I did not wake up that morning, 4:30 in the morning, thinking, oh yeah, by 11 p.m. today, I'm gonna be on a on a flight to Miami to go to the Gymshark event. That was out of my head. And next thing I know, I'm driving home to get my shit ready to do like everything that I'm supposed to get, and head to the airport. I was like, what the like, I'm fucking going to Miami right now. And I couldn't like wrap my head around it. Even when we were like halfway on the plane, like we're fucking going, like, you know? And I absolutely no regret at the end, because so many things happened during that weekend. Starting with the fact that we got the same hotel that all Gymshark athletes were staying at. So I bumped into like, obviously they don't know who the fuck I am yet, but so many people, so many athletes. Ryan Terry, the Mr. Olympia, I kind of even bumped shoulder with them. I was like, fuck, I'm so sorry, man. Like in my head, because I mean, he looked busy, so he just kept going. But we arrived to the hotel, and everyone's there, and it kind of put me in perspective. Like sometimes, at least for me, in my experience, in my case, whenever I'm around like these big people, I don't get that feeling that a lot of people get, like the nervousness, the I don't know what to say, I don't know how to act. I feel like and this coming from within, okay, like it's not like a mentality thing. It's not something that like I guess you can say I'm trying to actively convince myself of. It's more like it's just this deep inside feeling like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Okay. So that's why I'm able to like kind of like talk to whoever I'm talking to, or like be around all these people, big fitness people, and I'm like, I'm cool. I'm cool. Um, which I mean, I don't know, maybe not a lot of people are able to do that. So it was time to head out to the event, right? And I see the bus is like right there in front of me, outside of the gym. I'm sorry, the hotel. And Denise wanted to stay. She was a little tired. I understood. It was like a last minute thing, and I think it was, for me, it was more the excitement, that high, that rush of like, fuck, we're here, where this is happening. That it just kept me up. And I was like, I'm going straight to the event. And yeah. So made a line for like 2 hours, or it felt like 2 hours, right? Because like the line went for blocks and blocks. And you felt like you went forward a little bit, but more people would get in. Like you see like people constantly getting in line, nonstop. You're like, when is this gonna end? Right? I couldn't even see the end of the line at one point. Although I was the end of the line when I got there. So I met a couple people, cool people, and while waiting in line and everything, till we finally got in. I kind of lost them. I didn't see them anymore after that. But cool people, nice people. I mean, that's what I like about going to these events, or like about the fitness community, because I mean, completely strangers, but you have that one thing in common. You like going to the gym. You like, doing those things that a lot of people don't like doing, which is like putting your body under all this extra pressure, tension, work that, I mean, to some people it's even completely unnecessary, but to us it's part of who we are. And in some cases, to us, it either saved our lives, improved our lives, or simply brought more joy to like our existence. So once we were like, I was in there, I try to, um, you know, see everything, see everyone that was there. Um, but obviously, to me, my dream was like meet C-Bomb, which I got in line for and everything. But I mean, C-Bomb effect, right? He shows up and like the line was completely gone. Everyone was cutting in. By that time, Denise had already like come in. She had already caught up to me. She was at the event with me. We're waiting in line. We're like in the middle of the line. And next thing you know, we're at the end of the line. So everyone just started like cutting in. And she was like, I'm sorry. Like, I know you wanted to meet him. I'm like, it's okay. I'd rather not cut in line and get what I want because it's gonna feel, to me, it's gonna feel tainted. So I just stood in my spot. I stood there, and till he was gone. And I was like, okay, it didn't happen, and I was okay with that. Like I said, because to me, I wanted it to be real. I didn't want to cheat my way through. Okay, just like on everything else that I've done in my life. Like I don't like the shortcut. I don't like the easy way through. I don't like any of those things because it just doesn't taste the same. And I use the word taste because a little backstory. When I was living in Mexico, although I didn't spend that many years with my dad, because then I came here, he always told me in Spanish, Ganate la papa, which in direct translation to English is earn the potato. But it means like earn your food, earn your fucking, your food with hard work, with sacrifice, with everything. And you'll see how much better it tastes. And it fucking does. After a hard, long day of work, you're fucking hungry. You're starving. Or like, man, I could go for like whatever is your favorite food, right? And it tastes fucking amazing, right? Then you have on another day, have the same food, have the same meal. It doesn't taste as good, even if it's from the same place, made the same way, everything. It just doesn't hit as hard. It doesn't taste as good. That's what I didn't want to be left with, right? With that uneasy taste in my mouth. Like, okay, I met C-Bomb, but I cheated my way through. I didn't want that. So, and I thought that was the end of it. I thought like, that C-Bomb was going to be there for like one day. But turns out he was back the next day, right? And luckily, right, we were able to meet him. And hey, this entire year, at the beginning of this year, we've actually been doing exciting things, Denise and I. Starting with going to WWE, right? Here in San Jose, Monday Night Raw. That was like a childhood dream of mine, right? Like the fucking little 8, 9-year-old that I once was back in Mexico, making a little freaking ring on the dirt with my classmates on lunchtime and playing wrestling. And I was like, oh, I'm the Undertaker, but I'm gonna do an RKO on you, and like that kind of thing. Like me from back then felt it. I'm sure of it, because it was so like a dream come true, like really. Because I always thought like, what would it be like? I wonder what that's like. Will I ever be able to? Right? Being from where I come from, very, very limited resources, at one point it feels like it may be impossible. I won't ever know what that's like. And hey, I mean, how many years later it happened? You know, going to LA a couple of weeks later to the Fit Expo, right? Met, like, Jay Cutler for the second time, Breon Ansley for the second time, like top bodybuilders worldwide, right? And it's to me, is like, I feel so fucking lucky to do that, to be able to do that, to just like have like those 30 seconds, 1 minute exchange of words, because I'm trying to learn from them. That's what I'm trying to do, right? Sure, I'm a fan. I admire them. I respect them a lot for everything that they've accomplished. But at the same time, it's like, I'm trying to learn from you. So to me, it's like, I really, really value the short amount of time that I get to, like, talk to them a little bit, have a quick conversation. And like, I always try to like go up with the same question to every single one of them, because I want to get the different perspectives, because I know not every bodybuilder has gone through the same experiences or struggles or whatever. So I need to know those differences and how they pull through, if that makes sense. And the most recent one has been the Gymshark event, meeting the fucking GOAT. I mean, there's no other way to describe him. He's the fucking GOAT. And again, following my freaking or fucking intuition, that feeling that I got before heading over. I just, before saying bye to Chris, to C-Bomb, I shook his hand, I looked him in the eye, and I was like, I don't know what came over me. It was probably just subconsciously, but after I walked away, I'm like, did I just say that? But now I'm trying to like stick to it. I told him, we'll meet soon. You'll know about me. I was like, who the fuck says that to someone like him? Well, I fucking did. I did. Okay. And it's something that I've been reminding myself every single day since, right? Because I have bigger aspirations than just being like popular on social media, or like that whole thing. That's just a side effect. That's just a by consequence, that's what happens. But my goals are like becoming a professional bodybuilder and see how far I can go, right? At first, soccer was my passion. This was the one thing I was like willing to die for. But due to several, not just a couple, several different circumstances that were 100% out of my control, it didn't happen. I'll tell you this, at one point, I almost just dropped out of college and like moved to England. I was about to do that. And I really, really don't remember what happened that I didn't do that. Okay, it was out of my control. I was like 19, 20 years old. And I was really, really about to do that. I'd already looked at where I was gonna arrive. I had already developed like a whole plan, just like I had done before when I moved out from where I was living at before graduating high school, and then to get to college. I had already like written down a whole plan to leave the States and go to Europe to pursue that dream of being a professional soccer player. But again, I don't remember what exactly happened that never became reality. And then I found fitness, working out. Because it got to a point during college that I was kind of, not in not even decent shape. I was just a little bit past it, and I was like, hey, I got to do something about this. All right. So I started going to the gym, and little by little, right? Started going to the gym, and then I started working at the same gym that I started going to. Then I became a personal trainer. And then from a trainer, I was like, okay, I need to put all this into me. Whatever I've learned, everything, like now, to me. And I mean, that's where I met Denise. We've been together ever since. And a couple years later, after I started working at the gym, I got my current job. And let's be honest, oftentimes, most of the time, you leave one job for another for this. Okay? Because you need it. You need it to fucking survive. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you need a lot of food. You need a gym membership. You need everything that's required to even start the bodybuilding lifestyle requires money. And you can't afford that while you're working at a gym, not earning that much money. I'm not saying I'm making fucking hundreds of thousands. I mean, to be honest, I'm barely getting by. But I think that's also due to the fact that I, have to cover all my trying to be a bodybuilder expenses. And I mean, that's why I'm working where I'm working at. Trying to fuel this dream of mine. And that's what made me change jobs. And I've been there ever since. And I mean, it's also allowed me to do all these new experiences since last year. Since last year, went to Florida, went to the Raw gym, C-Bomb's gym, like a week after it opened. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was just working at the gym. Later on, I believe, flew to Texas to work with Raw Nutrition. And because of just being able to be more present on what I'm doing, right? I got that opportunity to go out there and work with Raw Nutrition for the Absolute Recomp gym grand opening, okay? Being able to go to LA for the Fit Expo, WWE, those are just to name a few, and obviously, especially this last trip to Miami for the Gymshark event, okay? Which, I mean, kind of went off track. That weekend to me was probably the most life impact yet. And I've had a handful of very, very meaningful moments since last year. When I started trying to be more put myself out there in the fitness world, bodybuilding world. But this weekend specifically, exactly a month ago, it really, really changed my life in some way that I cannot describe. Okay? Coming back from Miami after that whole weekend, after, I ended up working with Raw Nutrition the second day of the event, which I'm, so fucking grateful for the chance to just be there, really. Okay? And trying to understand how they do everything they do, learn from them, even though I'm not legitimately or straight up asking how do you do this, how do you do that, just there's that law of exposure, really. right? When you expose yourself to certain things, you absorb it, right? If I went to, I don't know, a non-English, non-Spanish speaking country, I know that after a while, I'm gonna start picking up on certain words, picking up on the language, right? Or for example, Denise, her family, Filipinos. And next thing I know, I'm starting to understand Tagalog, and I'm like, wait. I know you just said that in Tagalog, but like, I understood it. See, that's what I'm trying to put more into practice. Like, expose myself to everything that most people only are able to see through a screen. Like, I want to live it. I want to learn. I want to be there, right? To be able to understand, and again, to learn from everybody. I love fucking learning. I fucking love learning. I don't just like being like, oh, I think what I know is enough. No, I really don't. Okay, I may know a lot about a lot of things about certain topics or whatever, but I always want to learn more. That's just me. Okay, and maybe, just maybe, that's because when I was in school, it's not that I loved going to school, but I loved the learning part. So after that whole weekend was over, I mean, just came back to work. Not just at my job, but all this. Sticking to my training plan, 66 minutes of cardio every day, posting every day. Like, since day one. And I got in trouble with my job a couple times for being on my phone too much, because I was always editing. I was always like planning, planning and editing or posting, planning, editing, or posting while at work. Now, I'm not saying that I was being irresponsible with my job, but every little chance that I got to like not do, or how do I explain this? Every chance that I got to pull out my phone and do a little bit of something, even if it was just like crop a couple of videos and do a little bit of editing, like 20 seconds, I took advantage of that. Because after that, after 12 hours of work, I would have to go to the gym, like 2 hours of training and filming, and I'm my own cameraman, producer, editor, social media manager. Like, I'm doing everything myself. Okay, so moving the camera around and setting up for a set and changing weights and record and stop and check real quick if the clip is usable, and then come home, hop on the treadmill, 66 minutes, and not to get too personal about my home life, but Denise and I understood that was going to be a little bit, not a challenge, but it was going to create that a little bit of distance between us, because I wasn't going to be home as much. I would leave home 4:30 in the morning, not come home until 8:30 p.m. and then an extra hour of work on the treadmill, right? That's 9:30, right? And then have dinner, and then shower and get ready to sleep at 10:30, trying to get at least 6 hours of sleep. Sometimes I would get less because I would have to make my lunch and or finish editing and posting a video. It's been like this every single fucking day. That's what I've been doing. Just trying to have a shot. I know everybody else has been doing their own thing, but I cannot speak for those people. I can only speak for myself. This is what I've been doing. This is what I stuck to since day one. And now it's coming to an end. The challenge part of it. I've already planned out what I'm gonna do next, what adjustments, changes maybe I'm gonna do to my training, to my social media, and things like that. Starting my right shoulder, because this motherfucker has been playing games with me this last week, this whole week, at least for chest days and shoulders. I can do back, I can do arms, I can do legs, okay? But when I had to do shoulders, it fucked with me. When I had to do chest, it fucked with me, okay? And that, although it's not something that I have full control over, although if you think about it, maybe if I had been more careful, I wouldn't have gotten injured. So I guess it all goes back to me. But giving myself the benefit of the doubt, if this was not up to me, although this was not up to me, I'm going to feel like I didn't put everything in just because I couldn't go all the way because of my shoulder. But that's just a me thing. I'm sometimes, and I've heard it from a few people, that I'm too hard on myself. I just try to be realistic. So we're coming to an end on this. We're already 36 minutes in. We have 30 minutes left. I believe I have covered everything there is to cover about the challenge. But I did make a promise to do 66 minutes here and 66 minutes on the camera. So I know I've talked about it several times. I've mentioned it, I've posted about it. And you'd be like, really? Some people might think that. Maybe you're not one of them. Maybe you are one of them. But the whole reason why I did this, the whole reason why I decided to take on this challenge was not for me. I was gonna get benefit from it. The physical change, the improvement, the whole thing, right? But for me, it's always been about my family. Okay, yeah, I'm a family guy, all right? If you know a little bit about my background, you know I'm born in LA, but I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Mexico. Okay, at 40 days old, my mom just took me there. Lived a couple months with her at her hometown, and then she brought me to where my grandparents live, my dad's parents. She entrusted me with them so she can come back here and meet my dad once again, so they would work together to build a house for our family back in Mexico. So for the first 5 years of my life, I lived with my grandparents. They're the ones that raised me. They're like my second parents, if not, from my perspective as a child, my original parents. I'm not taking credit away from my parents. It's just that they were there since I was a baby. Okay, they changed my diapers. They watched me like learn to walk, learn to talk, all that. My mom eventually came back. My dad was coming back and forth. My sister was born. My dad eventually came back officially for good. He's been there ever since, when I was about 9 years old. So truly, every day, 100%, I only got to spend about 4 years of my life with my dad, right? I mean, spend most of the day with him if I wasn't at school because I had to help him with work, farming, painting, whatever it was um, that he needed help with. I was there to help him, which allowed me to learn pretty much every fucking trick on the book. Okay, at least what was there to learn at that point. Everything I know how to do. That's why I'm very versatile when it comes to work, labor, handy stuff, because I learned it all back there from my dad and from my grandpa, obviously, because he was there too. So when I was 13, my brother was already born as well. He was born actually shortly after my dad came back, right? Or like about 9 months later after he came back, you know. So when I was 13, I was given the news. You're gonna go to the US. You're gonna go to the States, to California, to Los Angeles, your birthplace, to visit one of your uncles. I was like, oh, that's unexpected. What for? Haven't seen him in like 10 plus years. And whatever kind of like relationship that we had, because I used to call him fool when I was little. But I couldn't call him that no more because now I had to respect my uncle. So, I mean, at least that part, that thing that kind of bonded us is gone. Can't call him fool anymore. It's disrespectful. So, eventually, they planned it all out. They're like, you're gonna go for 2 weeks, and then you're just gonna come back for with some luggage. They're trying to save some stuff, but it's cheaper that you go and come back than paying shipping to send all that stuff. So I'm gonna be a fucking mule. That's what you're saying. We're like, yeah, technically, but at least you'll get to spend some time in the city you were born. I was like, okay. I mean, sure, why not? And at that point, when you hear the word vacation, especially as a kid that's been, that has grown up in the fucking mountains, right? Kind of away from civilization, and all you hear is stories about the US and like how pretty it is and how big it is, and like all you get to see is in movies, and they only show the beautiful parts, obviously. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Vacation, 2 weeks. I'm gonna be in the US. Oh, fuck yeah. But about a month before I came for my vacation, plans changed. And I was told that maybe I should stay here and go to school and try to get a better shot at life. And I'm barely 13 years old at that point. So I don't really understand what the fuck is going on. Like, what the fuck does that mean? So I was like, but my whole life is here. I have my friends. I had a girlfriend at the time that was like, I mean, they didn't know, but in my head I was like, what am I gonna do? My girlfriend's here. So they managed to convince me, or not convince me, they just like made me realize the opportunity that has been presented to me. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Right? So I came here, and well, it was a shock, because whatever I thought the US was gonna be like, it wasn't. I didn't speak the language. Everyone would look at me weird because I was a little bit darker skinned. I lined up right now. But before I was like darker because I was always under the sun, working, doing labor, like the ranch farmer lifestyle. And it was hard. It was fucking hard. Not knowing the language, getting teased at school and at home Also by my uncle, his wife, and everyone else that lived there. Made fun of or whatever. But something inside me told me, like, this is a trade-off. If you're here to make something of yourself, you're gonna have to deal with things like this. And if you want to just go home and still be comfortable, be a child, have your teenager experience, you can always go back. But what if you never come back here? And this was your one shot at making something happen for yourself and for your loved ones. But that was a thought like that I had at 14. I was already 14 at that time. And I stayed. I tried to put up with everything, the mistreatment, all these new fancy words for abuse. But to me, it was like, okay, I mean, it's a trade-off. That's all I saw it as. Until I got kicked out for having a phone that my dad bought me. First time I went back to Mexico to visit them. I was just texting a friend, girl, normal text. And yeah, that was it for me. I got kicked out. I got sent to Mexico. And my godparents helped me out that time. They were like, if you really want to go and do something for yourself, we can set you up with some family/friends. And I was like, I'll take it. I didn't hesitate. I'll take it. So had that little meeting, my parents, that family, my godparents. And they were like, yeah, we'll take him in. And they did help me out for a couple years. I went to high school. And obviously, I'm leaving out a lot of details here that I might go over at one point in time in the future. But just trying to like summarize everything. The treatment was not any better. In fact, it was worse. Like worse. So I decided to move out, be on my own when I was still 17, still a junior high school. I planned out everything from beginning to end. Okay, at the end of the school year, at the end of my junior year, I'm gonna go see my family and I'm gonna drop the news. I'm not going back to that house. I am not going back to the house. No matter what you say, no matter what you do. I know I'm 17, but no fucking way I'm going back. Okay. And if you want to pull that card on me of like, oh, well, you're still 17, you can't decide. Just so you know, the second I turn 18, I'm going back there and I'm continuing everything that I've already set in motion. It's up to you. You would only have me here for like 2 or 3 months anyway. If you want to pull that card of like, you're 17, you still have to listen to us. So, I guess you can say that was one of the times that I rebelled against my parents. I guess they were just trying to be protective or like, stop me from doing something I might regret, but I was already set on my thought. And then my dad was like, okay, but while you're here, you have to prove to me that you can make it on your own. So what did I do? The whole summer that I was there, I got not one, but 2 jobs. I still helped out at home, helped them with work, my dad and my grandpa. I even gave my mom some money to like help with rent. So I went all in. And like a week before my flight was returning, my dad was like, all right, you can go. Just be careful, make sure you make the right decisions and everything. When I came back here, Um, I lived in a shack, but not a nice shack. Like surrounded by chickens and dogs and rats and shit like that. It was like not fit for a human. Okay. And I lived there for like 6 months. And I remember my parents had given me $364. I still remember the exact amount in cash. And I was paying $300 to be able to sleep in that shack, right? Just to sleep. I was able to take a shower inside the apartment of whose shack that was. But that was it. Like just shower, sleep in the back. Fucking chickens and a dog and like rats at night. Like you could hear them all over. The door had like a gap like this big. Like a fucking rat could go through that and just like join me in my sleep. I wake up hugging up 2 rats. Like shit like that I had to put up with. But I still preferred going through that than going back to that house. So you can imagine the kind of bullshit that I was putting up with. So eventually, 6 months later, I couldn't stay there anymore. Not because I didn't want to stay there. To me, it was like, this is my only option. I have to stay here. But because those people couldn't keep me there anymore, because they were going to go vacation or something. They're like, you can still come back here. But in the meantime, for whatever time we're going to be gone, I mean, you're going to have to find another place. And lucky enough, that's how I met one of my best friends, Robert. He took me into his apartment. He opened his doors of his house. He let me stay on his couch. I worked with him during that time because I was working at Burger King, playing, paying rent, paying my own food, and still like doing sports. I was doing track and field. So I was doing I was kind of getting like that whole college experience that a lot of people go through. The work, the sports, the school, everything. While still in high school. Just like living in more fucked up conditions. Like really fucked up. And he offered like, hey, if you ever need a little bit of extra cash, you can come work with me. Landscaping, construction, the whole thing. So he helped me out in that way too. He didn't have to. All he had to worry about was like me making rent every month, bills, stuff like that. But he helped me out. And during that full year before I graduated high school, I worked at Burger King. I worked as a janitor at my own high school right after school, cleaning the bathrooms, the hallways, the classrooms, then heading to the other high school because my high school didn't have a track. Head to the rival high school to practice for track and field, and then walk to Burger King for my night shift. And the next day, start all over. Wake up, hopefully not with a rat next to me, and then walk to my high school. It was a never-ending loop. And then the only thing that changed after that was that I no longer had to go back to that shack, but to Robert's apartment, which was a huge, huge fucking upgrade. So by the time I got to college, I got into college, and that all that pressure had already like, accustomed me to high pressure, if that makes sense. Because getting to college, the only difficult part was like I didn't know how to navigate through college. The resources, professors, like the whole thing. I'm the first person to go to college in my entire bloodline. So you can imagine, I was just like running into the darkness with a blindfold on. Like, how much blind can you be? And I managed to get myself to college and graduate. And during that time, the whole soccer thing, the whole getting introduced to fitness happened, meeting Denise happened. I graduated college. And during those 4 years, that's when fitness was like introduced to my life. And by the time I graduated, I was like, this is what I want to do. I went to school for something completely different, but this is what I want to do. And I've been working for it ever since. The point of all of this story is not to like have people feel bad for me. I don't feel bad for myself at all. I'm glad I went through all that bullshit. What I just talked about and the stuff that I haven't talked about, I'm glad about it all. I'm happy that I went through all that. Because it wouldn't have felt real. Even the small wins, like going to the Olympia, working with Raw, going to the Fit Expo in LA, going to WWE, going to Gymshark event, all those things would not have felt the same had I not gone through all this load of shit. Because it's been a lot. Okay? It's been a lot. And the only thing that has kept me in line is my family. That's the only one thing that, regardless of the ups, downs, the change of direction, everything, my purpose remains intact. Do something of myself. Make something out of all this to be able to help my family, to better their lives, and mine as well. Because I would have to get that benefit as well. But it's not my benefit that I'm concerned about. It's theirs. And that's my reason that I did all this. That I woke up every morning at 4:30 a.m. Whether with 4 hours of sleep, hopping on this treadmill every day, or doing any other type of cardio. Wasn't always this treadmill. Going hungry. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. But not once you'll hear me say, this is too much. I can't do this anymore. I wish my life was easier. I really don't think that, ever. I'm actually glad that I'm the one that's going through all of this, and not my brother, and not my sister. Or any of my loved ones. I wouldn't want them to go through everything that I've gone through and what's left for me to go through. I'd rather take all that responsibility, all of that, make all those sacrifices, that burden even. I'd rather carry it myself. And if I'm not able to do it at a massive scale, at least be able to help them and better their situations significantly enough for me to feel like it was worth it. So that is why I'm doing everything. That's why I'm doing all this. Okay? I'm not trying to reach immense level of fame. I'm not trying to be looked up to by people or think like, oh my God, this guy is like, you know. My whole purpose of sharing everything that I share is because maybe there's someone, or there are many people out there that have gone through similar things. And maybe their situation is like, or has them thinking, this is not for me. I should stop. I should quit. It's not worth it. That's the type of people that I'm trying to reach, that I'm trying to connect with or relate with, because I'm not trying to be someone you think like, oh my God, I'm your fan. Holy shit, like, you know, I admire you. I want to be like you. No, be your own person. We can relate on certain things. We can be, we can connect at that level that, okay, hard childhood, check. Having to pretty much finish raising yourself, check. Making sacrifices, doing everything, going through everything you're going through for your family, check. Wanting to be more than what people believed you could be, check. And just being hungry to do something of your life significant enough that you look back and you think, I would go through all over again. That's the type of people that I hope to one day reach. So that's the reason why I did all this. That's the reason why I'm going to continue doing all this. Obviously, adjusting, making changes along the way as required, right? Because, I mean, this whole, just life itself, not even the challenge. You have to evolve. You have to adapt, adjust, pick up things, leave things behind constantly. Because if you don't do any of those things, you're just going to be stuck in the same place. If you don't put one foot in front of the other, you're never going to move forward. Unless you're in the treadmill like me, haven't moved from this spot, but that's a different story. And now, all that's left for me to say is thank you to every single person that, you know, watch my stories, watch my posts, like them, comment and share them, that send me DMs, encouragement, saying like, you know, all that positive stuff. Some of you I've only seen once in my life. Some of you I haven't seen you in person. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person. But that doesn't matter, because I'm just as grateful with everybody the same. Okay? And also grateful with Gymshark and everybody behind it that put all this together. What came up with this opportunity that, although it's going to be given to just 2 people at the end, I believe that the impact that has left on us will be life lasting, or at least that's how I see it. Because to me, this was just, not just, but it was a warm-up set. Like, it was the perfect situation for me to get started on everything for good. No more hesitations, no more what if, should I not. No more of that. It's like I already went through 66 days straight. I can't stop now. Can't stop now. Which is why, starting tomorrow, first things first, figure out what I'm gonna do with my shoulder, plan up my next training plan, my dieting plan, and, well, see what happens with Gymshark 66. This is my last post about the challenge before the end of the day. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube right away. Post about it on Instagram. So, thank you. And now we're closing in to the last 66 seconds of this. So, whoever you are, wherever you're at, thank you. If you did this challenge, good shit, congratulations. I respect you because I know it was not easy. And last but not least, again, thanks to Gymshark. No matter what happens at the end, this has been 100% life-changing. And not just for me, for everybody else, but once again, I can only speak for myself. In this long video, if you stay to the end, I thank you. This is not gonna be the last. You can be sure of that. And that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.